I need to apologise for something I said last week.
Ooh.
For the first time ever, I preempted people not being on the show. I explained that Dan's going to be away for 2 weeks and he's not going to be here. First time I think we've ever done that. And what happens? Dan rocks up.
In your defence, had we recorded last night like normal, Dan would not have been here. So
Yes.
Because I would have still been in a tropical paradise.
Yes.
Yes.
So you didn't know. You didn't know. Dan's back, by the way.
I just feel...
Yeah, I'm
I
back.
just feel like I've lied to our listeners a little bit.
Good
but
show
I haven't.
last
I didn't
week,
mean
guys.
to deceive.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
Well, it gets worse too because, as Dan pointed out, he listened to last week's episode,
I did, yeah. Yeah.
and we both promised to do something in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
That
Well,
we- now,
for the next time we were all on, I think, was...
yeah, we were thinking it'd be 5
Well,
weeks.
No.
Yes.
No. So
planned on that.
I can't wait to hear 2 reviews today. Matt, you, Oppenheimer, can't wait to hear what you think about that. And Luke, I can't wait to hear what you think about Top Secret that I sent you on Blu-ray 2 years ago.
Oh, and also
I thought you were
Dune.
gonna ask me about-
And also Dune.
Well, I can tell you, Patrick Stewart was amazing.
You know what? If you were to watch that, I would still be happy with
Yeah,
that.
that's fine. Yeah.
At least you'd know what happened in the end. In fact, you'd know further because
that's true.
Dune Part 1 only goes halfway through.
Part 2 today,
although-
leave the room.
Yeah, it's set in the next door, the room next door.
I'll say this: if you read the book, it has a lot of one-room conversations. Because the book, what they do that the movie, neither of the movies do, is that they'll just have duets of characters in rooms talking about the plot. You know, in the movies they have to just show it, whereas in the book it'll be good guys and bad guys, side characters. You'll just have conversations. So they have
It'd be a very
eliminated.
boring movie if that was it.
Well, it's a long book.
It is, yeah. The second one, not so much, but it's also not as good. So
It's not as good. It's got more action though. I'll say that it's got more action.
different. It's different.
And then by the third book, Paul's dead and the main character is a worm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stay
It
tuned.
really takes a turn.
Stay tuned.
Paul's son, Leto, becomes a worm and takes over.
As you do.
And they're really making a second movie to show that?
No, that'll be the third movie at
There's a
least.
third movie.
Yeah, that'd be the third. Well, no, because the third movie will be.
Oh, the other
Messiah.
half of Children of Doom. Oh, the other half of Messiah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Other half of June 1, then
Yes.
June Messiah.
Because apparently Dune Part 2, what we're about to get next year now, is the other half of Dune and a bit of Dune Messiah.
Yeah,
Which I
interesting.
thought was interesting because of. We talked about this the other week because of the time skip.
Yes,
that's an
and I
odd
heard what you
choice.
said, and I think I'm trying to anticipate what it might be that they include, and I wonder if it's what you suggested, Matt, about how by the time the second book came out, Frank Herbert was like, "Fuck you, audience! I'm
Yeah,
changing
you got it
this
wrong."
up." Yeah. So I wonder if that thing, which is to do with a prophecy, Luke, I won't give it away, but I wonder if they let that pay off in the second movie rather than waiting to the third book.
I'm pretty sure we don't have to worry about spoilers for a book
June.
that's how old.
Yeah, but it's
and
a
doesn't
movie
make
that's
a
not
lot
out
of
yet.
sense.
You never know. Well, I haven't seen Oppenheimer. I'm going this week. I'll be
Matt,
seeing
it's
it
good.
this week. Yeah,
It's good, and I hope you like it.
I'll try and see Barbie as well if that's what you're about to say.
No, you don't have to just watch specifically Barbie. I'm just saying it's not Tenet. It's not Interstellar. It's not Inception. It's not Memento.
Yeah. It's
It's
another
not a
one of his
movie.
movies. I know that, Dan.
It's not.
It's also not a movie where you're going to look forward to seeing it again.
Oh,
No, not in
He's
a
right.
bad
He's right.
way.
He's right.
that's on the DVD box cover right there. It's not a
Watch
movie
it
that you're going to
just
look forward to
once.
seeing again, but add it to your collection anyway.
Yeah. That is an accurate description. It's like, go and see it. It's very 2023. You know, it's what the second most famous movie of the year. It's very good. It's very good. Even if it's the worst movie made by one of the greatest filmmakers of our generation, that still makes it pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
But you're not going to go out of your way to watch it again. You're not going to go, what do I feel like watching it this Sunday afternoon?
Maybe you've set my expectations so low that I'm going to adore this movie.
Well, I'll say this, Matt. The longevity of Christopher Nolan movies is always in the second watching, I find.
Yeah, that's fair.
Interstellar might even be my favourite if his movies now. And the first time I watched it, I was extremely disappointed.
So I remember talking afterwards and both being like, "Oh man, that was not great." And
so
then
maybe
on a rewatch,
Tenet took me a second time as well. I liked it the first time, but the second time I watched it, I was like, "This is fucking great."
Yeah, but I don't. For this one, I do see that in the other one. I don't see it with this one though, because it's not a
being optimistic. Speaking of Tenet, though, we're on the plane coming back yesterday, and Hui was watching Tenet, right?
Oh.
And I was going to watch it too, actually, because I'm keen to watch it again, but I just couldn't look Christopher Nolan in the eye if I ever met him and say I watched it on a screen this big. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he wants me to see it in IMAX. There isn't an IMAX in Sydney, but at least I've got a big telly at home, you know. But anyway, she watched it.
You've done your best.
She watched it. She watched it all the way. It's a long movie. She watched it all the way through to that action sequence in the end when they're doing the double pincer movement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then she watched it till then, puts it on pause, takes off her headphones, turns to me and goes, "This is a silly movie," and then turns it off. I'm like, yeah, it is. You know, none of the characters have names or backstories or it's
protagonist.
unusual. Oh, John would have been fine if anyone called him John.
Speaking of Johns, Luke owes somebody an apology.
Oh.
Another one?
Yeah, we've had a
Wait,
listener
let me
write
guess.
in-
You finally played Daikatana and you've got to apologise to
No.
John Romero because you
No.
loved it?
We've had a listener write in. Luke, who plays Peacemaker?
John Cena.
See, I believe
Or
that's...
John Cena. I don't know which one's correct.
Well, listener Craig does, and he's mad at you. Well, he's not mad at you. He just thought it was very funny that you kept saying it completely differently every time you said it.
Each time. That's kind of Luke's thing, though, right?
I believe... See, now you got me questioning it. I think it's John Cena. But the fact that you said it correctly threw me for a bit of a loop there. I was expecting you to say it wrong.
My nephew, who likes wrestling far more than I ever have or will, says Cena.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so I have always just gone off of that.
I don't know. I think it's the thing when you see him in interviews, like I think in different countries when they're interviewing, they will pronounce it differently. And
Sure.
that's where I hear it. Because I don't watch wrestling, so that's where I really hear
Well,
his
you're
name
in the
from,
same
is
country as
interviews.
Craig, so...
So when
Sorry,
Craig
mate.
wrote in, did he tell us how to properly say it, or did he just criticise the fact that Luke couldn't settle on
No,
one?
no, he didn't spell it phonetically in the message, but he did. Actually,
Craig,
that's not true.
for
That's
next
not
week.
true. I can't look at my phone because my phone is my camera. But I think he actually did. Now that I've said that, I think I'm lying. I think he
Did I
did
get
say.
other stuff right, like that he's invisible and stuff?
Oh, he's definitely invisible.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw
And
a
when he
great
writes
quote
his
online the
name-
other day. Nothing to
Go
do
on.
with Peacemaker per se. It's to do with Watchmen, but it just made me laugh. It was like,
yeah.
I love Watchmen, and my favourite character is Rorschach. I just hate the fact that his face is my parents making love.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Well, I will apologise. I am sorry. I don't know much about him or wrestling.
But you
See, I
did,
think-
you did like Peacemaker, right?
Love Peacemaker.
Yeah, Peacemaker was probably the best TV show of last year, if you ask me.
I was like, maybe Luke's thinking of Ayrton Senna instead of John Cena.
Ooh,
Probably not. I don't
I
think
was going
Luke
to make a
often
joke.
thinks
You know
of
what? I've got
Ayrton
no
Senna.
jokes that are appropriate.
Too soon?
Way too soon. 30 years.
Yeah, I know.
No, I was going to say who would win, but
In a
but
race?
they wouldn't. But that's what I mean. Like, but I was going to say no. But I
Race or a wrestling
was going to
match?
say if they wrestle, John Cena would win. But if they raced in
Sure, it
cars,
depends.
it's not certain that
Yeah.
Ayrton Senna would win
We'll have
either.
to find some common
No,
ground.
there is one of
Yeah.
them still alive.
Yeah. So he'd
So he's
win
got
by
the advantage.
default.
So you would
Yeah.
want John
Well-
Cena versus Ayrton Senna's headless corpse.
I don't want it. I'm just factually, I think he's still going to win in a race.
Did you see what Helmut Marko said? He had to apologise for. This is F1 talk. Sorry, listeners. Helmut Marko. Helmut
what did he
Marko,
have to apologise for this time?
He's like the head of Red Bull Racing, I think. Right? Is that his role? I forget his specific role. Or is Christian Horner there? Anyway, he's
the
like
head
a
of.
higher. He's Christian Horner's boss, isn't he?
Christian Horner's the team captain.
Yeah, okay. Well, Helmut Marko, I think, is above Christian Horner at Red Bull, right? I think. Anyway, he came out this week. He was asked about Perez. Perez's performance has been a bit all over the place this season, and he said,
"That's a nice way to put it."
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, there's a lot of factors. One of them being, he's South American." People were like, "What does that mean?" And then he had to apologize.
Also, isn't he Mexican?
But his apology was even worse because he said, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have generalized about someone based on their ethnicity." Like, oh, so you were being racist?
Yeah. So that's right.
Yeah.
To be clear. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm really not sure what he meant by that.
Well, I think his apology made it clear. Unfortunately,
I think he did mean that. I think he meant
I
they
mean,
can't
racist.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he means usually when I'm cut off in traffic, it's somebody a little bit darker than I am.
Yeah, that's not appropriate. But like, not the best way to apologize by.
No. I mean,
confirming.
don't get me wrong,
what
Red
you
Bull
said.
still doing
Then again.
it pretty well this season. You know who's not doing
Yeah.
well? Fucking Ferrari. Absolute garbage. Every time.
No.
It's so disappointing.
Alonso back on the podium, loving it.
Alonso, yeah.
See, I only know F1 from the game.
Yeah,
And they only gave me
Same
a 5-hour
thing.
trial.
Same-
you know,
10-hour trial.
you know who these drivers are. Then you see him in there.
Yeah, I beat them all the time. They're not that good.
Do you drive as yourself or do you pick a driver? Like, am I racing against Max Verstappen and I'm beating him? Or do I race as Max Verstappen because he's the best?
I love that.
It depends on how you can play as them, or you can. There's also.
I love that
Luke plays yourself.
Luke now thinks he's a better driver than Max Verstappen based on Max's
Yeah.
performance in the game.
Luke, I will put this to you. Max is also better at the game than you.
Well, I will play the game with all assists on and on easy, so that does. Yeah.
Have they ever
I would
done
love to see
a
Luke
virtual race
Max
with-
Verstappen
with-
in a real F1 car.
I would as well. But I'd also like to see Max race the other drivers on, like, Xbox. I reckon there could be some real rivalries there that aren't necessarily demonstrated on the track.
One of the hardest things I would have to get accustomed to if I was racing an F1 car against him is the fact that I need to go faster in the corners than I do in a real car, normal car. Because you actually need the
Faster in
speed to go
general.
around the corner to keep the downforce on. So
Yeah,
if
you have
go
to
too
do-
slow, you're actually going to slide out. You need to actually
Yeah.
have that speed in the corner.
You have to do
That's
several
different.
days of training before they'll even let you sit in an F1 car. There's a time limit. You have to be able to get out of that car in, I think maybe it's 10 or 15 seconds with the protective, like the halo thing and the neck
like
brace and
that's-
that. You have to be able to
take steering wheel off, take it out,
yes,
jump out.
and you have to put the steering wheel back on afterwards
I have to put it back on.
because the marshals need to be able to turn the wheels.
Oh.
So that's the rules. There's a time you've got to be able to take the wheel off, put the wheel up, get out, like smush your way up out of there, put the wheel back on within 10, 15 seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah, it was easier when there was no
Otherwise,
safety.
they will not give you the license to drive that car.
I knew about that rule from Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
He told you
Luke,
about it, did he?
I've got to tell you stuff about
Formula
Formula
One.
One.
Hey, look, how fast can you get out of a Formula One car?
Yeah, mate, I cannot
Remember-
understand you.
There was that movie where he was evidently a Formula One driver.
Was
Do you
there?
remember that many
No.
years ago?
I have.
Yes.
I remember the one where he was a truck driver.
No, there was one where he was a Formula One driver and sort of get pulled out of retirement.
Do you know how I know? I think I do remember.
No, that's
I think
called
because
Creed. He plays Rocky Balboa.
I think Rob Dugan did a song for that
Oh.
called
Really?
Left Me for Dead for the soundtrack for that movie, but I
It
don't know the
certainly
name
sounds
of the
like
movie.
a Rob Dugan song.
Yeah. I don't know the name of the movie.
The name of it for the life of me. But yeah, and it also because it makes no sense. Like, there's no way Sylvester Stallone, with how big he is, would be a Formula One driver. It just
They're
doesn't
live.
work.
They're
Driven.
extremely live.
It's called Driven.
Driven.
Yep.
Also
don't
starring
know this
Burt
movie.
Reynolds.
Okay, well, what are we doing? Let's watch this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a scene where he hurts his leg.
Rotten Tomatoes.
The young driver hurts
1
his-
star.
There's a scene where the young driver hurts his leg, but he wants to drive, and so well, you got to get out in this time limit, and they sort of make him get out on his hurt leg, and then make him jump on the leg. Which I don't know what the jumping on the leg really does. I think that's a bit mean. But
It's more like a
Sweep the leg.
hazing thing.
Yeah.
Sweep the leg, yeah.
People still complain about that safety bar that's on the
Oh yeah, the
Top of
Halo
Formula
thing
One
that
cars
literally
now too,
stops
yeah.
them from losing their fucking head.
from getting their heads literally torn off their body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has,
But also-
it has 100% saved several lives in the past few years.
But also, it does also take away from your vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does not having a head, Luke.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so maybe we can work out a better way. Maybe we have a roof.
Well, hold on. It's
Yeah,
not
they
the
probably-
it's not the
You're right. They
drivers
probably
that
didn't
are
put that much
complaining.
thought into it.
No. The drivers have said we can work around the loss of
Yeah,
vision.
yeah.
It's the spectators saying, I want to be able to see their faces. And they're like, I want my
Really?
fucking head to stay
You're
on.
not seeing their faces.
People are saying, and people are saying, oh, it's weak. You know, drivers from the back to the
Don't be a
70s and 80s
pussy.
didn't need them. Yeah.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton said he didn't like,
Also nearly
didn't like
got
the idea. He said
the
if
whole
you
thing-
you knew what you were signing up for when you became a Formula One driver, and it's like,
but
yeah,
that is the
but-
kind of thing Lewis Hamilton would say. You know,
Wasn't it getting close to?
he's
like,
driving pretty
the
well
races
this year.
Hashtag grateful for my head.
Look, when people were dying quite often, weren't they getting close to shutting down the entire thing, and actually people getting criminal charges because of how unsafe stuff was, because people were dying?
There's all
if
sorts
they
of.
don't do the safety stuff,
It was insanity
Technically-
back in the
goes away.
day. Back in the day, it was
Technically, nobody
insane.
has ever died on the F1 track. They pronounce them dead at the hospital so that
Yeah.
they can honestly say no one has died on the F1 track.
He didn't die on the track,
even if
mate.
their
He
head's
died
not attached.
on that wall.
As we
over there.
rolled his head off, yeah.
You're still talking to us until then.
Yeah. Speaking of safety, I read this. Fuck the internet. I hate the internet. I hate internet journalism. And what I hate is that somebody says something dumb or makes one dumb article, and all the
Yep.
other news outfits pick it up, and so you see the same headline in your feed, right? The headline was something to do with this one line from Jurassic Park will make you hate John Hammond. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
What line is
Okay.
it? What line is it?
I mean, I've heard all the lines from Jurassic Park.
You have heard all.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've seen it.
it will surprise
Yeah.
you not to hear. So the line is when he says, "Oh, it's something to do with safety inspections are such a bother," or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's the line, because people are now saying, in a way, it's John Hammond's fault that those. And it's like, yes,
It's
that's
100%
part of the
his fault.
fucking plot. Like the fact that he wanted the park opened before it
movie's
was ready, and
largely
even
about
though
that.
he brought specialists to test it, and who all said this is hella fucking dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he poo-pooed it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Nedry turned off the gates so he could
Sure.
smuggle out eggs.
But he shouldn't have been able to.
And Hammond didn't know that, but Hammond had already made it very clear that he did not care about the safety of the people in the park.
Do people understand that if he hadn't have been like that and he hadn't been all for safety, the movie would not have
Very
been as
boring
good.
movie.
It would have just been a walk around the zoo.
Yeah. I thought it was very tragic when he got eaten by the compies. Until he doesn't in the movie. Never mind.
No.
It's in the book.
Yeah, yeah.
In the book, he dies.
My favourite part of the my favourite part of the book is where they're trapped behind the waterfall and the fucking T-Rex, they think, oh, he can't get in, and his fucking tongue comes through the water. I'm like, put that in the fucking movie.
Yeah, why wasn't
That's
that in there?
great. Yeah.
Ugh, Spielberg.
Crichton is a great writer.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
I've got
written a lot of
Yeah.
books to movies that we've all enjoyed over the
Oh yeah,
years.
Congo.
Congo.
One of the best.
I like Congo. Jenna loves
I
Congo.
like
not all
Congo as
winners.
well. I kind of like Congo as well. I read a book this week that's very good. You want to hear about it? But I've got to remind myself of the title by opening up my Kindle.
It's that good.
No. It's just okay. It's called The Lost Worlds of 2001. It's a non-fiction book by Arthur C. Clarke about the process of him writing 2001, the book, in
That's cool.
collaboration
Oh, okay. That'd be interesting.
with Kubrick, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's so interesting because it is his daily journals that he was writing through the process, right? Also a look back, but also contains verbatim all of the short stories that he had written in the past that they drew inspiration from for the movie. So there's one that's just about Monolith on the moon, right? That was not connected to anything else, but they're like, that'd be cool. Let's put a Monolith on the moon. And Sentinel. But there's also one, I think it's called A Gift from the Heavens or something, which is about an alien teaching cavemen to hit things with bones, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they took that, but then they joined it by just making it the Monolith, right? So it's got all of these things. But then also, and I didn't know this was how they wrote it too, I thought they kind of came up with it together. That's not strictly true. Arthur C. Clarke came up with all the ideas, right? But had to pitch them to Stanley. And if Stanley didn't want them in the movie, Arthur couldn't put them in the book, right? So...
Right.
And there was also stuff that they had agreed to that did get in the book, but then Stanley would ring him like a year in and go, I've cut this out in editing, so you need to remove it from the book.
Yep.
And he'd be like, but it fits in the book. And he's like, well, but that slows the movie too much.
Does it go into much about, like, I know towards the end, like, Arthur C. Clarke was sort of pushed out of it a little bit.
He goes
as
into
well,
all of that. But I think he was also a bit fed up with it at that time too. But Arthur C. Clarke feels that Stanley kind of reneged on some deals that they had made and stuff, which is pretty much how anyone who's ever dealt with Stanley Kubrick feels about him after they've worked together.
Working together really well, but towards the end it was not returning phone calls. And
mind you, he's very diplomatic. I think Stanley was still alive when he wrote the book, and I think he's pretty diplomatic about it. Right. But it also contains the chapters that he removed. So not the chapters that they decided were no longer canon, but the chapters that are still technically canon, but just had to be removed because they're not in the film.
Because
But it's very good. Very good.
That's
if you
cool.
like science fiction and you like film history, it's the perfect combination of the two things.
I hate both of those things, and you know it.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
You know that about me. I said this before we started. We have an important question that we need to ask Dan. You've had 24 hours-ish. Have you played Starfield yet?
I know, right? I've been home. No, I haven't. And you after the lukewarm reviews on last week's show, I don't know if I should be in a hurry.
Let's talk then, because things have changed.
Okay.
I've gotten a lot further in.
I have. Fucking. It just like sucked me in.
You're in.
And off.
Okay. Yeah.
But in. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm in.
You've got to put it in to be sucked off, as my grandpa used to say.
I spent 3 hours just customizing my ship the other day.
Oh, really?
Oh, I remember somebody going, I don't know if the fucking shipbuilding is going to be my thing. I'm just going to explore.
Well,
you go.
I'm here to tell you I was wrong. I spent fucking ages.
Flames on the side.
But you have to learn how to do it, because I was like,
It doesn't teach you.
No, you have to figure it out by trial and error, right? So I was like, I want more cargo space. I'm
YouTube tutorials.
Shoving all these shit on the side of my ship. I got these things sticking out everywhere. I'm like, I'll put some fucking guns on that one and this and that other. And then I go, all right, let's see how that goes. And then it comes up and goes, nah, mate, you can't fly that. And it comes up with a list. It's like, you need to fix all this shit. Like, that's not a spaceship. And I was like,
amazing.
So, okay. It's like you can only have like, you can't have 12 laser guns on it. It
but no
sense.
engine.
Right. You can only have one reactor. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. So, so you kind of got to learn all the odds in it. And then also it was just enormous. It was like, no, it's not too big. You can't do that. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
No,
I like the idea of building the ship.
But it is a lot of trial and error, because like you said, Luke, it doesn't teach you. You have to figure it out. It's like an old school game in that sense, where it's like, here's the shipbuilder, like,
go for it,
do your best.
There was one of the missions I did where I had to progress the mission, I had to install components onto the ship, and
I haven't found that.
Okay, I'm gonna go do this, and it didn't tell me how to, and it took me a long time to work out. I have to click here, and then it'll let me do this to connect it there, and it just didn't help me.
Flip them over sometimes, and then
But once I did, but most of the ships I have now, I've just purchased. One I've designed myself with the help of
I haven't had enough money to buy a whole new ship. I've stolen.
I'm rich.
My favorite thing.
I'm very rich.
Well, I got a lot of some good moments have happened in it, but one was I was on Mars, and then this ship came and landed, and I was like, I'm going to go have a look, and it was this colonist, and I was like, oh, how you doing? He's like, oh, good, how's it going? So I picked the lock and busted into his ship, and just took off in it. Well, he was, and it was just like the cut scene of you taking off. He's just standing there on the planet going,
his face I guess that's
so
what
good.
Chat.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And that's now your ship, and then you can pay.
That
to
is the ship
actually
I was modifying.
Change the registration to yours.
You see,
Oh,
Narcissus.
so that's your ship now.
Yeah, you pay to register it, and it's mine now. That's the one I've been modifying.
Yep.
Because I
You don't
feel
have to
weird
file off
modifying
the
the one that
security
you
number
get
or anything?
first. The one you get first.
But you're happy to steal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No, because the one you get first is like someone gives it to you, and it's kind of like it's a ship. So it feels weird changing it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Oh, I see. It's got it right.
Yeah. It's like
Okay,
if
I've got
someone
questions, I've got
gifted you a
questions.
Toyota Corolla, and you were like, "Oh, I'll put a body
I'm
kit
gonna
on
mod
it."
this.
Like, seems a
Yeah.
bit weird. Like,
Yeah. Oh man, that's my pet peeve is when I see beautiful cars with ugly body kits. No, what are you doing?
like my current ship is hideous, but it was hideous when I stole it. So it's
Sure,
fine.
yeah. And now it's
My
got
current ship is
10
hideous,
guns
but
on
my
it.
God,
Yeah, that's right.
it can do a lot. I don't have to worry about how far I travel anymore.
Yeah, right.
I travel anywhere.
You grab
Okay, so I've got
drives
questions.
sufficient.
Number
Yeah.
one, can you not go to space? Can I just play this game and be the first person to just stay and live on Earth?
Oh well,
You wouldn't want to live
can't.
on
not
Earth.
Earth.
You don't start on
Okay.
Earth.
Earth's fine,
Yeah,
mate.
you don't want to be
You don't
on
want to
Earth.
go
Okay,
there.
so Mars is there, but Earth is iffy.
It's
Okay.
there.
Earth is there.
Yeah, it's there. You can
Okay.
land there. It's
Oh,
nothing to
okay.
see, mate.
Could I find my old house? No. Okay.
No,
I'm
Earth
going to
has
take a
been
screenshot of our old
destroyed.
house in Auburn, Matt.
Do it. I know what it looks
It's
like.
accurate.
I've been to
The
Sydney.
rubble where it is probably looks the same.
Look, you probably could. No, I don't think you have to go to space. I don't think it'll let you just stay
You
on
definitely
that
have to go
mining
to
planet
space,
begin
Luke. What are
with.
you talking about? You definitely have to go
No,
to
no,
space.
no. I don't. No. If you really, I don't think it'll. No, because
Later on, you
Could
could
I
fast
pick one
travel.
planet and live on it?
Later on, you could fast
Right.
travel and skip a lot of space stuff, probably.
this is the one thing that I'm struggling with the game is the space stuff.
Do you have to
It doesn't
pilot the
feel-
ship manually?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You've piloted the ship, but you just end up fast traveling everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Because for
But
me,
you
the
have to
worst
have
part
been
about,
somewhere
say,
first,
any of
right?
the Assassin's Creed games
Yeah.
is sailing a ship between places, right? Is it like that? If I want to go somewhere, I've got to steer there.
Oh, well, hang on a minute. No, because, sorry, that's not true. You can fast travel to a planet,
To a system.
but you then have to land on the planet for the first time
Okay.
to
Yeah.
unlock fast
All
travel
right.
directly to a city or something like that, I think.
But
that's
yeah,
how
you
it works.
you basically essentially fast traveling to a system. It's just if you can reach it, I click here, I want to go here, and you just
That's
grab
why
drive takes you there.
it is a little weird, right? Because you've got the distance your ship can jump, and it adjusts. It changes. Like if you make your ship too big or put too much power-hungry stuff on there, the distance you can jump in one go gets reduced, and you have to kind of hop around. But if you fast travel, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but it's only if you haven't been to that planet before that you have to plot your route and go to places you haven't been. But if you've been there, it'll just take you there. That's what the space travel is. It's just missing something.
You know what? I think the
it's-
problem is I'm not able to think. I can't because I've only really done Sol and then whatever the system New Atlantis is in. I haven't jumped around that much. So
Yeah, no. Once you get out there, you do just travel. But when you do jump to a system, it's just if you can reach the system, you select it, you jump there. You're not flying to there. And then when you get to a system, I want to go to that planet. You select that planet and you hit a button and you travel to it. You can. Someone has actually flown from a planet to another planet, and it took them
yeah.
7 hours.
Huh.
It was Alana Pierce,
Oh yeah.
a fellow Australian. She actually flew from, I don't know from where, but she flew, it took us 7 hours just to fly to a planet.
That's funny.
So you're not flying to a planet.
Well, you are if you've got the
You
time.
could.
So it's not like No Man's Sky where you have to literally go in real time between planets.
No, because
No.
when you take off from a planet, there's a cutscene and then you're in space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's not kind of smooth
Yeah, the only
transition.
time
like
I'm
that.
really flying is when it's a new planet I'm going to and I'm going to go down to land, or if I've got a mission where I have to go and shoot something down.
Yeah.
That's when the space is just.
No, I
it's
like
really just
it.
fast travel once you've been there.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Like I've been doing some space battles and stuff.
Yeah, I would have liked more as all.
Well, you have to upgrade your piloting skill. So you must have done
Yes, you have to.
at least
Yes, I've killed
20. You must have destroyed at least 20
to,
ships.
to get E-Class C, because
Yeah.
I think it goes 10, 20, 30, so I've
Okay.
killed...
60.
I had my Class C.
Okay.
I
Is
played
it-
the big boys.
Is it like Skyrim where you can kind of just be by yourself and explore and live in the world? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Less like, say, Mass Effect, where you've kind of very much.
Jenna's done more of the main storyline than I have in it because I've just been like fucking around. Like,
it's so easy to get distracted.
I did tons of stuff in the Sol system. That like I did tons of missions.
The Sol system, is that what you call our solar system?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Mars-based missions and stuff. I've done heaps of them. Yeah, it's fun. So yeah,
it is, but it's.
I am still going to take up. I got an email from a listener, Darcy, who's going to help me with Destiny, and I am still going to take you up on that. I've gotten distracted.
You're a little distracted. So yeah,
Destiny will be there when you come back.
But
yeah, like it's a little bit different. Like you can't marry anyone you want. It's very limited.
It's
to
quite
your
restricted
characters.
Yeah,
it's not as open in some places, but then more open in others. But no, once you get into it, it's a good game and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I am.
Are you both playing as women?
No,
I am.
No, I'm playing as a man called Matt.
I am a little bit annoyed. I made a decision in a mission and I didn't make a save and I can't undo it.
You got a dick now.
I'm a little.
Well, you shouldn't want that. You can't undo stuff in life, Luke.
Yeah,
I know. It's I'm a bit upset about what happened.
Is it a spoiler? Don't tell me if it's a spoiler, but
it's a spoiler because it is a mission thing. But I didn't make a save, and something happened, and I was going to do something, and I went, "I'll just check this out," and then it made the decision for me.
There you
That's
go.
life.
Which is it's a bit upsetting.
C'est la vie.
But it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something else you might be interested in, Dan. There are already NSFW mods.
Of course there are.
For Starfield.
Yeah.
Of course there are. PC only.
Yeah, no,
for now.
I was about to say not an Xbox, surely.
Yeah. Well, one of the first. Remember when they released mods for Skyrim and was it Fallout 4? I think on the Xbox they first put them out, and the very first one was the big tits mod. It was like number one immediately.
Yeah.
Big tits.
Yeah.
It's always the first mod. Even if you go back to like The Sims, the first mod out there was
nudity.
Yeah.
Get rid of that blur. Even though you couldn't see anything, but it was the first mod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's already a thing. God bless the internet.
They didn't have long, but they made use of their time.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to understand this one. I need to understand this. How are people comparing this to Cyberpunk?
Yeah,
This makes no sense to me.
people were posting videos comparing like kind of odd things between Starfield and Cyberpunk. So, for example, in Cyberpunk, it would show a clip of Starfield. You jump off a bridge, and then you just kind of land, and the water is like, like thimble deep, and you just kind of land in the water.
Yeah.
Whereas Cyberpunk, you jump off and you jump into this deep water, and it's like, okay. And then
How's that? How you compare?
yeah, no, I know. And then the next one was in Starfield. If you're walking around, you pull your gun out, you walk up and stick your gun in people's faces. They just kind of look at you. They don't react. Whereas in Cyberpunk, if you pull your gun out and you start pointing it at people, they go, and then they run away. And then so lots of things like that. And then I think one of the developers from CD Projekt Red like replied and said, "This is pointless. Like,
Yeah,
they're not the same game. Like,
they're not. They're very, very different.
like there's so much other stuff going on in Starfield. Like I don't know. What are you doing?
Is it like in Fallout 3? I was about to call it the first Fallout. Of course, it's not. Fallout 3. When like I remember once I accidentally picked up a spoon that wasn't mine when I was in Megaton, and then I wasn't welcome in that city anymore.
Yeah, that can happen.
It has happened to me a few times.
I got arrested for.
But you just pay to fun.
I got arrested for. Well, I stole a ship from some Crimson Fleet guys.
Another shit.
How many ships have you stolen?
That's kind of my thing. I've stolen 3.
All
in
Toyota
total.
Corollas.
I sold 2 of them, and I've kept 1. But one of them I stole from a Crimson Fleet, like pirates, and it had stolen artwork in the cargo hold,
yes.
which I didn't realize. And when I jumped into a UC system, they scanned the ship and I got arrested. But it triggered a cool side plot. So I'm not mad about
thief. Awesome.
I know what side plot you're talking about, and I've completed that side plot.
Oh, fuck off. It's pretty good. Anyway, yeah, so you can get arrested for that, for contraband on the ship. If they scan
it is
you.
quite interesting because the same thing happened with me. I didn't like steal a ship, but I just had contraband just by habit.
You got it from somewhere.
And it just that.
You don't have to tell Dan where you got
into
it, Luke. It's none of his business.
I just happened to have it. Mm-hmm. I had some human organs. It was fine.
Now, if I got this for my PC, right, for my Windows laptop,
no,
right, for example, and it wasn't running well, what do you think Todd Howard would say in response?
Yeah, so he's come out this week. They did like a Q&A, and then one of the top questions was, here we go. The game is, where's the actual question? Why did you not optimize this game for PC? And Todd Howard says, we did. It's running great. It's a next-gen PC game. We pushed the technology, so maybe you need to upgrade your PC.
Which, honestly, I think is fair.
Yeah. That's how it used to be. It used to be. You would look at the specs. Yeah, you would look at the specs and you would go, oh shit, my computer can't run this. I better get that graphics card off dick.
That 3D effects card that everybody had.
I still have it somewhere.
Everyone had, yeah.
That would click.
Yeah.
You can't work out what's clicking on it.
Yeah, so I think this is one of those things where people, the implication being, oh, you made it for consoles and it runs like shit on PC. And he's like, well, just
I bet it
PC,
runs
mate.
beautifully if you've got a really nice PC.
Yeah. Look, I think this is what I think people have gotten used to the fact that you don't have to upgrade for every new game that comes out now.
Oh, speaking of which, I was all prepared to do my review on that Assassin's Creed with Jesus game.
Oh yeah,
couldn't even run it. Couldn't even. Literally, I tried to load it. Like bought it, put it in my Steam library and stuff, downloaded it and everything. And when I tried to run it, it was like, I don't think so.
I do have a question. Does Steam? Because I know that there have been some games like if I buy from the Windows Store, it'll go, yeah, no, your PC's not going to run this. So Steam doesn't do that. They go do a check or anything. It just goes, you got to buy it. It's all yours.
It's early access, so I didn't pay for it. Maybe if it was a purchase, they would have told me then. But they let me download it. They let me put it in my library and all of that before. And then it was only when I went to actually play it.
I've learned a lesson with, I forget what I bought. It might have been Dune Spice Wars. I bought it because I really wanted to play it. It doesn't run on Mac.
Oh.
But the website obviously didn't say anything because I bought it through the website instead of from inside Steam. So...
Oh, I do have some news about my Starfield purchase though. I did get a refund for it.
So just to be clear, you had pre-ordered it, but then you bought it, so
didn't show up on time.
Preload it.
No. You could always preload it as long as you had Game Pass. That was fine. But I brought the Constellation Edition, which came with the watch and the code and everything for the game. But that didn't arrive to Monday when the game. I could play it on Friday. So I brought the digital upgrade version on it, the same one that Matt brought.
And got a refund.
So I could play it. And then when my copy arrived, I emailed and went, hey, I've got the Constellation Edition with the watch and everything. Can I get a refund?
Oh, so you were honest about it. You didn't say, oh, it's just not for me, guys.
No, I was honest with that. Look, I've purchased a copy. I'm going to second you refund. I'm just going to load up my code. I can send you a receipt if you want.
Yeah. They could have just gone... No, you should have just waited till your fucking copy arrived.
They had every right to in their refund.
Nice guy, Bill Gates.
Because they do say, like, with the refunds, like if you've played like 10 hours of a game, they don't have to refund you.
No.
Yeah.
And
it took me 100 hours to know I really didn't like it.
I finished the game, got all the achievements, then it worked out I didn't like it.
Yeah. That's the Aziz
they had every right to say
argument.
no. And it was a risk I was willing to take because I just really wanted to play it. But they were nice enough to refund me, and I now have my fancy watch.
Ooh,
oh, look at that.
That is nice, yeah.
That'll get you into the lodge.
Actually, let me...
Luke knows what I mean.
I'm in the lodge.
I know. So am I.
Is it something sexual? Because you both are saying it like it's something sexual. Oh, that is nice. That is very nice.
You'll have to wait and see, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
See what you get lodged inside of you.
Jesus. What's the difference between jam and jelly, Matt?
I will just let you know one thing I did find out that is a bit of a buff if you're worried about trying to level up. If you get married and you have sex with a character, you get a 15% XP bonus every time you have sex with them.
Every time.
You have sex with them, for the next 24 real-time minutes, you get a 15% XP buff.
There you go. Just like
you
real
have
life.
to wait real-time minutes. You watch them fuck for 24 minutes. That is amazing.
Again, another comparison to Cyberpunk.
No, hold on. That's not
You don't.
24. That's not 24 minutes of penetration, right? That's got to include foreplay and stuff, right?
It's enough time to eat the pizza as well.
The delivery man has brought to your door?
Have you not seen that video, Dad?
Oh, and here's me in just a towel.
Yeah. Oh, it turns out I don't have any money. How can I
pay for this pizza?
How can I pay for the pizza?
Yeah.
We've got one more Starfield article, one piece of Starfield news, and that is that Starfield saved a man's life and his family. Because he was awake playing it, and his house caught on fire at 2 a.m. And if he'd been in bed like he was supposed to be, if he'd been in bed like he was supposed to be, he would have died. Well, actually, the apartment downstairs, I think, caught on fire. But
I've got a question. Did the fire start because he was like making some dinner and it was playing stuff and forgot about it?
No, I think it was the apartment downstairs. And they said the smoke. Like he smelled the smoke because he was awake, but if he'd been asleep, they said, that might have been a life-threatening situation.
Go out there. This is why you need smoke alarms
and an Xbox.
Americans like the freedom to have their houses burned down at any time that they want.
Yeah.
Live
I do have
free
smoke alarms,
or
though.
die in a fire.
I do have smoke alarms just in case. I also have a carbon monoxide alarm, which is like
in case you breathe out
you
too
need
much.
that there, don't you? Though.
well, because I've got a boiler and stuff downstairs. I don't know. I just worry about these things. So, but it's like a big unit. It plugs into the power point, but it's got a big button on it. And Lyra likes to push the button, which is the test button, and it's fucking deafening. So I'm like, she's gonna damage her little ears. But she walks past and she goes, "Oh, beep, beep, beep." I'm like, fucking stop doing that.
Yeah. Why do you like this?
Why? I mean, it's fun and it gets a reaction. That's why.
Yeah.
Same reason as anything else these days.
Maybe get like a smart one that's like on the roof. That
My
doesn't
daughter's
have that
smart,
button.
Luke. Fuck you.
And why would he put her on the roof?
Maybe you shouldn't have given birth to a dum now, Matt.
Yeah. Pop it on the roof. Have another one.
I didn't give birth to her. Let's be clear about that. I misspoke.
Yeah.
That may have come out wrong.
I didn't do anything. I just handed a cup
Oh,
of
she
jizz
came
to
out
a
wrong, did she,
scientist.
Luke? You fucking piece of shit.
I don't want to talk because I want Luke to say more stuff.
I know. I'm not digging this hole any deeper. I'm out.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Can I save us from this conversation by talking about John F. Kennedy?
Yeah.
So Matt, you were reading Vincent Bugliosi's Kennedy Tell-All, right?
I did. Yeah, I did.
You read it. I got it too.
did read that.
I couldn't get it. It told me it wasn't available for me, and I was like, pfft.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then I realized he did a later release where they took out a chapter and put in a different chapter, and they changed the name, but it's the same book.
Oh.
So I got that. Yeah. I've read up until where he describes the day, but I haven't gotten into the kind of the half where he talks about what he thinks happened.
Sure.
Very good so far. The reason I wanted to listen to this, I mean, you reminded me it existed, but I was in a bit of a Kennedy deep dive already. Have you heard of the TV show 11/22/63?
So I know that that's based on a Stephen King book, right?
Stephen King.
Yeah, that is in my Audible library.
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, right.
And
I've got to read this.
James Franco stars.
Let
me set it up for you.
Yeah,
so
go on.
here's the setup, right? James Franco is eating his breakfast in the diner that he always eats at, right? And this is this dude who
being a sex
works
pest
there.
as he is.
Just being, actually, yeah, that's right. I can't not think about that now. But fuck, he is charming. He is charming. So you can see why he thinks he could get away with it, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Which makes me not like him very much. But he's a good actor. He's good in this. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Guy who owns the diner goes, I'll be back in a minute. Goes into the kitchen, comes back with like a shaggy beard, looking like absolute shit. And James Franco goes, "What happened to you?" He goes, "Oh, I've got cancer." And he's like, "In the kitchen? In the 2 minutes that you were away?" And he's like, "I've been going for 4 years. Come and have a look at this." Takes him into the kitchen, says, "This door takes you back to 1960. And I've been going back for 20 years since I bought this diner. Every time you go in, it resets the past. I've never done it yet, and now I'm too sick. So you have to go in, and you have to save Kennedy from getting shot." So James Franco goes to the past, has to live there for 3 years, and then on the day Kennedy gets shot, or, you know, on 11/22/63, go to Dallas and try to stop him from getting killed. It's very good. It's cheesy. It's not as dead serious as it could have been, but it was really interesting. And if you know about Kennedy, they do put a lot of details in that are true details.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I've got the audiobook that I was going to listen to. Now I'm like, should I watch the show instead? I don't know.
Do both.
Yeah. Maybe I'll read the book first. I don't know.
Yeah. What I like about this, though, there absolutely cannot be a second season of this show. It is finished.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. This is more of it's a TV miniseries. It's not like a television show.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's still 8 or 9 episodes, but yeah, a limited series, I guess, is what they say now, right? It's don't expect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Worth it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Definitely interested in that.
Yep.
I might give it a try.
You watched something else.
Oswald is a main character, and it reminds me of. You got to. Have you seen Oliver Stone's JFK movie?
Yeah.
JFK, where Gary Oldman plays Oswald. But this is the opposite of that. I don't want to do any spoilers, but fucking Oliver Stone thinks Oswald is innocent. He thinks he was just walking past on the day, right?
But he thinks a lot of disparate things. That's the problem. He thinks.
Yeah. No, he believes anything anyone comes up with.
Yeah, I'm not sure he has a coherent
theory,
one thing he believes.
It's in the movie. Yeah, correct.
It's all very all over the place.
Yeah, I've got to say, in all of the kind of crazed shootings that have been happening in my lifetime, very rarely has it been this huge, deep conspiracy. Usually it's just a fuckwit.
Yeah. Well, that's like the most compelling thing is just like, someone would have said something by now. So many people would have to, like, for all these conspiracy, like all the theories, all the things that people are like, oh, what about this, what about that? So many people would have to be involved for any of these things to be true. And like no one said anything.
The only thing to me, and maybe Bugliosi goes into this in the book. What was Alexa going to weigh in?
Yeah, my watch was about to solve the mystery, but it's
it was about to fucking pull the plug. You have said enough.
The ghost of J. Edgar Hoover shut it down at the last minute.
Yeah, that's right. He slipped his little ghost women's panties off and got back to work. The only thing that really, because everything about the JFK narrative, like the official narrative, the Warren Commission narrative, makes absolute sense to me. Nothing doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? He was a nutter. He wanted to be famous. on the day he heard that fucking Kennedy was going to be near his work, he was like, I'm fucking doing this. It makes sense. There
was no expectation that he was going to even be there. There couldn't have been a setup. No. He might have been set to work on the other side of the fucking town, like city. It's, It's not feasible that it was like a setup.
Yeah. He has tried to assassinate other political figures in the past.
Yes. For attention.
He thought he wanted to be a communist, went to Russia and hated it, so he came back and couldn't decide if he loved America or hated America. And he was
just an idiot.
Political, but he was just a fuckwit. But the one thing that I've never had a good explanation for is why Jack Ruby shot him the next day. Like, I just don't, I don't understand.
The way in Bugliosi's book, the way he describes Jack Ruby, I mean, I guess the way Jack Ruby's described to him, he's theoretically just translating, transcribing things. It just sounds so nonsensical. Like this guy was just so distraught after Kennedy got shot. He was so upset. He was crying. Like this club owner.
I mean, this is Dallas, a borderline gangster. Like, who's just, but super progressive politically.
I mean, I guess it's true, because then the other point he makes too is that, because people say, Ruby was hired by the mob or whatever. It's like, why would you hire that guy?
Yeah,
like,
I don't believe that.
He was an idiot too. Like, he would never hire any of these people to do any of this.
I don't, and that's the thing, like, but you can think, but if you look at what's been happening politically lately, you can actually believe it. Like, people, if you look at what Trump saying, I haven't been elected in Capitol riots, there are these people who are so invested.
Yeah, this guy just got himself all worked up about it. Yeah.
You are very correct. Yeah. That is so sad.
And that's not a recent thing. It's been forever, as we've seen here.
This would be more like if Obama was murdered, and then they said, oh, it was a Middle Eastern guy who did it.
Sure.
Right? Or a guy who's a Middle Eastern sympathizer.
Yeah, he went and lived there and then married a woman from there and brought her back or whatever. That's kind of Oswald's
and then
Russian wife
and then just some dude just went out and murdered him. I guess it does make sense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, maybe...
It's just that in Bugliosi's book, when he talks about the Jack Ruby stuff, I was just like, this can't be true. This guy sounds like nobody behaves the way this guy behaved, but presumably they did.
Jack Ruby is also a character in 11/22/63, which leads me to a question about writing shorthand dates. Right. So obviously, everyone knows America and Australia have inverted. Right.
Yeah.
No, it's the rest of the world and America.
I get confused now.
I was being because I
have accounts. In various countries, right? Because I've got Australian stuff and I've got US stuff now. I get so confused.
And your birthday is always your password. But depending on what country, you got to invert the letters.
But if it doesn't have like a selector for the date, if it's a selector, it's easy because you just choose and it's simple. If it wants me to type the date in, I'm like, which way do you want me to type it?
Oh man, I had a selector that I had to select my birthday for something recently, and it didn't have, like, I couldn't still select the year. I had to literally go month, back from today.
Yes, I've been on a site like that recently. I'm like, how is this a thing?
Yeah, it was.
And also, I'm now realizing how old I am with how far I have to go back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Except that, like,
old people won't want to use this service.
I'm so into 80s. Yeah, no old people won't need a visa to Bali. I'm so into 80s nostalgia that every time I input my birthday, I'm like, the 80s were cool.
I mentioned it to Jenna for some reason today, and I think we might talk about this before, but there was a tweet that was talked about how when people say something was 20 years ago, my brain automatically goes, the 80s. But it's not the 80s.
No.
That's 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It was like 20 years ago was the 2000 Olympics. Y2K.
Terrifying.
Yeah. If Back to the Future was made now, he'd be going back to the 90s.
Ugh.
I'd watch that.
That's wild.
But that doesn't seem that long ago, does it?
I'd go back to the 90s.
No.
Yeah, same. Yeah. But change nothing. Just live the 90s again, exactly the way we did it. Bring your own null fucking modem cables and let's just link up computers.
But imagine like going back and be able to go see bands just starting out because you knew.
Yeah. By that sports.
See, I don't know. I'd still you say that, and now I still feel too old to go to bands. So I'd be like, am I? Do I feel like this, but in my young body? Or
yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, the sports almanacs exist Like, could you buy a sports almanac and take it back in time? I don't think so, right?
Oh, you should see what they do in 11/22/63, Matt. There's a bit of that going on. And it gets him into a bit of trouble, too, because if you start making a lot of bets and winning, people start to notice. Jack Ruby might even notice. But my question about the datas, right, is how do you pronounce it? So we say, in this case, we'd say 22/11/63. The 22nd of the 11th, 63. If somebody said, what's your birthday? You'd say the 2nd
22nd of November.
1980. What do you say?
Here, I found, and I did notice this when I did it, I say now April 11.
Yeah.
Which
I don't think I would have used
to say that. I don't think I would have said that in Australia. I think I would have said the 11th.
But if you're going to say the short date, you would never say the 04/11.
No.
Right? But we would say the 11th of the 4th. To say, if we were reading a short date, you'd say the 11th of the 4th, 80.
Yeah, I think I would probably do that, yeah.
So I think in America, maybe they just don't ever say it like that. They say April 11.
April the 11th. Yeah, I think they do that.
Neither here nor there. It just
I'm going to notice now.
When I was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, they say 9/11.
Right. They do.
They do say 9/11.
They don't say September 11th. Oh, no, they do
That's
also
in
say
2
that.
days, mate.
It's tomorrow here.
What? That's fucking weird. Wait, so you guys knew about it in advance? You didn't say anything?
Yeah. You know who else knew about it? The CIA. Oh. To be honest, that I do maybe believe. I don't believe it was an inside job, but I do maybe believe that they had intel that was ignored.
Yeah. But I mean, that probably happens more.
There's a fairly compelling case that they did have intelligence that said there will be an attack.
And then they were like, probably not.
And they were like, American soil? I don't think so. And they're like, not the soil, whatever's in the air.
And they're like, what does that mean?
Aeroplane.
Yeah.
Like,
what a weird thing. That's a weird thing to say.
You're under arrest, mate.
You are freaking me out.
Political. Yeah. I watched another TV show this week. If anyone wants to hear about it.
No, I do actually. I was going to ask you about it. Go on. I know what it is.
So I popped on Netflix and I watched Depp v. Heard. You know how we watched this when it happened? We were actually, Luke begged us not to, and he was like, "This is garbage. Do not watch this."
Yes.
And it was just this sensationalist bullshit. He said, she said. Who's the more charming than the other? No one had any proof of anything. Imagine you took that and then you somehow made it even more sensationalist by editing out any of the actual facts and just putting scandalous quotes side by side. And then instead of having any experts weigh in, like in a documentary, you just have people, influencers from the internet, saying what they think happened. And you intercut it with that. Yeah, it was... Absolutely. I watched part of the first episode. I turned it off. I said, I can't do this. But then I wanted to know what
does it get any better?
Happened. I wanted to know. Yeah, do they really go into this?
I'll tell you what happened. Tell you what happened. She pooped in the bed, Dan. That's what happened.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
Don't you get that?
She says there was not even a prank. It wasn't even a prank. Didn't happen.
The dog stepped on a bee?
One thing. There was only one thing. What?
I think that was a quote.
They didn't mention. There was so much that they didn't mention. There was like, if you were really going to do like a coverage of this trial, there were some very interesting facts and contradictions brought up in this trial that you could have really, because the whole thing was, for the first time ever, we've intercut his testimony with hers, so you can hear them both talking about the same incidents. And I thought, okay, this is interesting, but it wasn't. They made it not interesting.
They made it boring. Yeah.
Look, I still just go back to, it was two terrible people talking about their dirty laundry in public, and somehow still Depp came out. Depp was so charming that he came out, and people still love him. Yep. He's still a terrible person.
Now he's banging his lawyer.
3 Johnny Depp movies since I watched this show.
It's redeemed him.
He is fucking charming. And yeah, it has for me. No, don't get me wrong.
Which movies?
I've got a theory. Oh, what's the first? Okay, so I was in Indonesia, and so none of my fucking normal streamers would work. So I had to just get whatever they were streaming. So I watched The Tourist, right? Which I had never seen before. Pretty shit, but still.
Okay. That's one with Angelina Jolie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I watched one other, I can't remember. But then I watched I watch this movie every couple of years because I just love it. The Ninth Gate, which is just so good.
The Ninth Gate.
With Johnny, pour me a mega pint, Depp, and Frank, I touch who I want to touch, Langella.
Yeah. Directed by...
Yeah,
Roman Polanski.
Meet me in the pool, Polanski.
In the pool at Jack Nicholson's house. Yeah.
Sex Pest, the movie. Yeah.
Set
in America, but filmed on a set because Polanski wasn't allowed in America at the time. Still isn't.
Well, he's allowed. He just has to.
Oh yeah. In fact,
charges.
They want him to come back quite.
Yeah.
He's
right. He's definitely welcome back.
Yeah.
The Ninth Gate's really good.
It's excellent. And you know what I like about The Ninth Gate is it's a bit silly and it knows it, and it's got some silliness, campness to it, but it's also, I find it quite creepy as well.
Yeah.
Like just the way the music is great. And just when it does things like, because he's, looking at the illustrations in the book, there's this one part where it just zooms in on this night going, and it's just fucking chills. It just gives me a little chill.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
There's lots of little things too. Like, I always remember this bit, where I think they're in Paris and they're down by the canals and he gets attacked and she comes to rescue him and she floats down the stairs.
She just floats down, yeah.
But he doesn't really...
And they don't really say anything about it.
in the background. It just kind of... She just kind of flies down and it's like, what's that about? And then later on it kind of makes more sense. But they never go, oh, he never goes, that's why you were flying.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a
and one of the pictures
thing
in the book is her. Yeah, and there's a couple of things like that too.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Love it. Yeah, that's his wife. That's Polanski's wife.
Oh, is it? Huh.
The floater.
She fucking hates that nickname. Stop calling me that.
I wish I'd never done that fucking movie.
That's also Amber Heard's new nickname.
Now, I'll say this. I do feel sorry for Amber Heard. I do think she's lying. Because she's clearly fucking lying. But
they're both lying.
The abuse that she has copped since then, nobody deserves. No. You don't deserve that for lying. You know what I mean? Like, here's what I think. You want to know my completely... Because and this thing with the Michael Jackson we talked about the other week too, is it's like, we're not allowed opinions because it went to court, a judge and a jury gave us the truth. That's how this legal system works, right? Here's what I think. So for what it's worth, if anyone cares, I think he did do something to her, right? Just pushed her, slapped her, punched her, I don't know what, right?
Sure.
And I think she wanted him to be held accountable for it. But she had no proof. So she starts trying to film him so he'd do it again.
Provoke him.
But he never did it again, right? So she's got all these videos of him angry and her trying to be a bitch, and he doesn't do it, right? Yeah. But he did do something, and she wants that proof. So she starts baiting him, and then they have this huge fight, and then she's like, now's my chance. Puts on the bruise makeup, which we know was fake, right? That's been proven. And says, he beat me. And just leans into it. And then all of her actual stories that she's told have been proven to be wrong. But she doesn't strike me as someone who's made this up out of whole cloth. It seems to me a little bit of no smoke without fire. And Johnny Depp, I love him, but I wouldn't want to be married to him. He seems like an absolute cunt.
Yeah.
I'd let him shout me at a fucking restaurant where he closes it down and
buy
just
a case of
bring
wine
us whatever food we want. Yeah. Or let me live in his friend's village. But I don't think we'd want to be friends with him.
You don't want to bang him.
He'd slap you, yeah.
Luke, you mean?
Finish his
Luke?
pint.
Or me? Who are you looking at when you said that?
Yeah. Where are my eyes looking? He'd slap you, listeners.
Slap you right into the after party.
What is the after party?
The after party.
No, don't change the subject, Luke. You were about to give your opinion, and I want us to reverse because you decided not to at the last minute, which is when I really want to hear what you have to say.
Look, no, I've been very open. I think they're probably... You're right, there is smoke. There is fire where there is smoke, and I think he is a terrible person. He's not...
Did you just see that cat climb up behind him?
I know, right? A black cat just... Shut up! Don't talk about Johnny Depp.
Sorry, go on, Luke.
Look, no, I think they're both terrible people, and I think they've both made it worse for people who are trying to come out against violence.
Yes,
because they've made it worse for people
100%
who are being affected.
The people I hate the most, though, are the people who stood outside with signs saying "Justice for Johnny," because you don't know. The court is going on inside right now. You know what I mean? Like, maybe wait till the verdict, and then when he's exonerated, which he was. Then put up your plaques and stuff. But you don't know what happened. You just think he's a good actor. Why does that mean he kind of hit someone?
Oh, notice me, Johnny, notice me.
Yeah. He did. Fucking hell, he did notice people.
Yeah.
They covered this.
Noticed
in a bit
his
too,
lawyer, like I said.
I fucking noticed her. I noticed her a bit too, but not as much as he did, clearly.
No, he's noticed a lot of her at this point.
Yep. Sexually. If
Wink.
you know what I mean.
Listeners, if you want to hear more of this shit, head to patreon.com/multiple nerdgasm. For as little as $1 a month, you can support this show and get our undying appreciation. But for $10 a month, you can get the after party where every week we just keep talking.
We don't stop.
For 10, 20 minutes. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes we talk for way too long, to be honest. But we've got some Geeks of the Week to put before Luke for judgment this week. Geek of the Week is when Luke decides which of the celebrities who've died this week is his favourite.
Yeah. Does this mean we can't go to Margaritaville anymore?
You'll have to wait and find out.
I hope not.
Patreon.com/multiple nerdgasm.
Always wanted to go.
You've been there, Luke.
Missed out.
You have been there.
I have?
You have been there.
I have?
Patreon.com/multiple nerdgasm.
/Margaritaville. Use the coupon code Nerdgasm to get a free margarita.
I would love. Listen, go walk into a Margaritaville and ask if you can use the coupon code Nerdgasm, and then let us know what happens.
Podcast. Just do it with absolute confidence.
I'd like to use the coupon code Nerdgasm and just see what happens.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.